how are you? Welcome to another daily vlog. It is still a hot day here in my hometown. The dew point is like 72. Normal should be under 60. So, phew, it's another hot one. It already feels like it's, what was it? It was 88 degrees and this is about noontime. And it was already feeling like 95. So hopefully this is our last heat advisory. It's supposed to expire at 8 p.m. tonight on Tuesday. So got up this morning and got a pot of coffee brewing, and I got up about 8 o'clock. Mr. Jerry, he got up about 9:30. But as the coffee was brewing, I went outside to check the garden. I haven't seen it or checked it in a couple of days, and it's doing better than I thought. All the potato plants, of course, they're just loving this, and the tomato plants, they've shot up, and all the squashes are starting to come up good. The peppers are doing well. My peas that are planted in between the peppers on each side on a trellis, they're doing good. I think it's because the pepper plants are kind of shielding them. So I did have to pull a baby cucumber plant. It was about this big, but something had really gotten to it, some type of bug. So I just pulled it right out so that I can replant if I need to. No sense of it stressing itself out and calling all the squash bugs. So, but I did take a couple of pictures if you want to see my flowers that are in there. Maybe I'll just post them right here. I started everything from seed this year instead of buying the plants, and the marigolds, I had 2 French marigolds. They were a yellow and a golden. It was a mixed bouquet, and they're like 13 inches tall. They're the big dogs of the flowers, and they're supposed to work the best in the gardens. And then I had started zinnias for the first time, and I put 4 of them by my trellis on the end of the potato bed, so they had like this much room. Of course, when the potatoes started coming up, they're just like all over that area, and there was a purple prince that had poked its head out where the sun was, and so I don't know about the others. I didn't push the plant, potato plant back to see how they're doing, if they're faring at all. So definitely will be planting more zinnias in the garden and nasturtiums. Nasturtiums are a good garden flower, I understand, that kind of climbs up a little bit on a trellis. So I think I can plant those with, I'll have to double check, but I think I know I can with the cucumbers. I'll have to check with the green beans, but they can share the same trellis. So, but I was more concerned over my cabbage and my cauliflower plants, because they're a cool crop, and a lot of people are losing their cabbage and cauliflower. But I had started out with insect netting over both their beds, and then I invested in some shade cloth, like 40% shade, and just draped that over the insect netting, and I was very pleased to see everything looks good. I mean, everything still looks like it should look. There's no, like, they're starting to bolt, which means they're going to flower because they think that they're done. So, but we'll see in the next day or two. So I was feeling pretty good, came back inside, and immediately my eyes started watering, and I keep having to clear my throat, and you know, I said to Jerry, I said, I miss the days when I had more days that my head was non-allergy related. And he goes, yeah, him too. So, but my friend said the same thing, that whenever she goes out in it, she comes back in, she gets an instant allergy, headache, and all that stuff too. So, but I thought I would record this a little early, come visit with you a little early since Mr. Jerry is out working on stuff. So I thought I would just show you what I've been working on. I've been doing just 2 projects right now, and the one was that sweater that I decided I was going to do, the summer sweater by I think it's Blue Sky Fibers, really, but the Dizzy Knitter. It's called the Seven Sisters Top, and again, this is what it's looking like. Now they used an organic yarn, which is non-animal basically, and they use an organic cotton. So but I don't have anything like that, and I just wanted to use what I had in my stash. So I have a bunch of this Mandela, and this is an acrylic. It is a number 4 weight. It is 150 grams, 344 yards, or 315 meters. It's 100% acrylic, and it is Mandela ombre, so it's going to stripe. And that will be the striping sequence right there. And this one is called Cool Freud. Cool Freud. So I started with the other skein in the center because it had the lighter color in it first, and when I show it you'll see. Now this one starts with the darker, so we'll see how I do this. I started out on US 8. Oops, there goes my needle. And now I'm on the body part where it's the increases, and I'm using a US 10 Chigu stainless steel needles, or 6 millimeters. And I've got about this much left on that first one, and this is going to be hard to show, but this is where I am now. So she originally had you do a 5-inch ribbing, and it is 2 by 2, knit 2, purl 2. I did a 3.5. She had done a Zoom on Saturday, and then on YouTube she posted the replay, and she definitely said that if it was on a younger gal, that 5-inch would be okay, because now the pants are like a high-waisted pant. So she did hers 3 inches. She says if you want to do 2 inches, it doesn't matter, as long as you get the, I think from the underarm to the, from the bottom up to the underarm is like 15 inches, as long as you get that. So I did 3.5 inches, and yeah, so that is right where I am at on this. So I just have just lots of knitting round and round and round until I get to 15 inches on this one. So it's something I can do when my head's not the greatest, like it has been sometimes. And I am housing this in this beautiful floral bag our daughter got me for Mother's Day. nice canvas. So I have been working on that. Then the other thing I've been working on is my English paper piecing. I have 2 English paper piecing, but the first one I have set it to the side. Well, actually I kind of got 3. But one is a quilting where it just has like 5 flowers in it, and that's kind of set off to the side. The other one is set off to the side too because I'm really enjoying this one, so I want to get this one done first. And so I am on clue 3. So far there are 6 clues that are out. I'm not for sure how many clues there will be, but for this one I needed to do so many of these in the pink, and I needed to do so many of these in that blue, and so many of these in the yellow. Or would it be like this? So, and I've got, and they are 1-inch hexes. I glue base these, and so I got the hexes in here, and I have everything housed in this cute little basket right here. So what I've been doing is, let me see where I started. So right here is that one piece right there, and then I've got one here, and now I'm getting ready to add the third one, the blue one here. So it will be 2 yellows, and then it will be over this a blue. So it looks like this, and this is what it looks like so far. And so far on the back I have taken out the papers except for the outside edges so I can reuse the papers. So, but yeah, so I really like this one, and that's why I'm continuing to do this one. So in between the knitting, I've been working on this. Usually the morning is, right now, has been my knitting on that sweater, and then the afternoon, then I move over to the other side of the couch where my thread and all that stuff is, and then I will thread, or I will work on the English paper piecing. Not always. Yesterday I just knitted, but yeah. So I'm telling you, we're supposed to get rain. I don't think we'll get rain. They said maybe tonight. I don't think we will. I think ours will hit hopefully tomorrow. I didn't have to water today, the garden, so I'm hoping tomorrow. It's supposed to be chances of rain Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And tonight the low should be 68. And I think tomorrow the high is only 81, and then it goes back up into the high 80s, but the nights are like 68. So, but it should be, I mean, heavens, it's summer, so you know. But other than that, I haven't been doing too much else since I'm kind of seeing you every day, my friend. So I don't know if I told you, last Friday was weigh-in, and I stayed the same, and I'm okay with that. Of course, I'd like to have lost some weight, but during this hot heat, it's hard to lose weight when it's hot like this, because I'm really pushing the fluids. But you know, you can do it, but for me, I'm just happy just to maintain. So not for sure what we're doing for lunch today. We talked about, because last night Jerry was not hungry, This is why we don't have cake or anything in the house, because we had lunch yesterday. I had a small salad I made with iceberg lettuce and some carrots and some turkey and some cheese. I'm trying to think what I put in there, but I did put some Colby Jack cheese in it, and some croutons, and my ranch dressing. And so I did have that for lunch with a half serving of ruffled potato chips because I wanted that. He bought another watermelon, so I have and it's all cut up, so I have watermelon in there to eat. And last night, of course, when I got done with the salad and stuff, and then after an hour I went out and I just took that fork and I took a, like one swipe down and then another swipe, and I still counted it like a piece of cake. But he had, after his lunch, he had a big piece of cake, and I knew as soon as he did that he was going to be too full for supper. So about 20 to 7, I said, "You're not hungry, are you?" And he goes, "No, not really." I wish the man would just tell me that he's not hungry, because I feel like I'm always asking, because maybe I'm hungry and it's around supper time, and I'll say, "So what would you like to eat?" And he doesn't answer, and so that's usually my clue he's not too hungry. And so I had just a bowl of cereal. 7 o'clock last night, I had a bowl of cereal. I had a couple pieces of watermelon, because when he cuts it into big chunks, and so that's plenty, and I can just break it up with my fork as I'm eating it. I do sprinkle it with a little bit of salt. Gotta have salt on that watermelon. And so that was my supper yesterday. Well, he talked about today about grilling up that other T-bone steak for lunch. Oh, he got up this morning, he had coffee, but he didn't have any cereal or like he normally does. And he's not overly hungry. So I just told him, I asked him, I said, "Were you planning on grilling that when it's time, so it'd be done the time that we normally eat, about 1:30? That's the furnace coming on, the air conditioning. Or were you going to wait until we normally have our lunch at 1:30 and then start everything?" And he goes, "Oh, I don't know." He says, "What would you like to do?" I said, "Well, you're the one who hasn't ate today. I mean, I've had my fruit smoothie, so." But he's back out working. So who knows? If I get hungry, I have a cheese stick in there I can have. I've got one of those flip yogurts I can have if I want, the kind that you dump the stuff in. I also have cottage cheese, and I've got peaches I can dump into it. So, I mean, I can have a little protein, because maybe he just won't eat lunch and it will go right into supper. He's been known to do that before. But I'm not going to push him, because it is stinking hot outside, But other than that, I was trying to think, oh, you want a good laugh? Oh, my friend, I'm telling you. My birthday was Sunday, and I love the idea of celebrating it all month. So I'm gonna do that. But months before that, I kept saying, because I have a hard time remembering how old I am. I just don't pay attention. I know I can take my birth year and subtract it from the current year and stuff. And this year, but Jerry's always been a great mathematician because of his previous job. And I can remember saying to him, "I'm going to be 67. He goes, "No, you're going to be 68. And I'd look at him and I said, "No." And he goes, weren't you born in 58? I said, "Yeah." And he says, "Well, if you take that away, you're going to be 68. And I just sat there and I thought I was 66. And I even remember getting the calculator out, or even asking Google, you know, and he just shook his head. He goes, no, because he's 68 right now. And like I said before, we share the same age from my birthday June until his in September. And I thought, man, I can't believe that he's going to be 69 then. That just doesn't seem right. And I was pretty sure it was 66. This went on for a couple months, back and forth. Every once in a while I throw out and go, oh, I can't believe I'm going to be 67. He goes, you're going to be 68. Would you stop it? The man wore me down. The influence of him and me feeling like, apparently I don't know. I just said, okay. So my birthday rolls around and I tell everybody I'm 68. My brother, who is 2 years younger than me, his birthday was yesterday, and our sister wished him happy, you know, birthday. She always calls him old man, and he goes, yep, 65 today. And I went, 65? No, you're going to be 66. And I said something to Jerry an hour or two later, and he gave me that puzzled look, and he goes, no, he is 66. I said, well, that's what I thought, but he says he's 65. And he goes, and here we go again. He goes, weren't you born in 58? I said, yes. And so I took out my calculator and I put in this year minus my birth year. And I showed it to him. And I says, it says 67. And he goes, oh. He says, well, I'm not going to be 69 then. I said, well, I've been wondering the last couple of months because you have always said you're 68, which meant you're going to be 69. He goes, well, I'm not going to be 69. I'm going to be 68. He goes, well, I don't know why I thought it was 68. I said, well, you're only 67, just like I could tell that it bothered him, only because from the standpoint, his mom has dementia, and whenever he doesn't remember things and different stuff like that, he immediately thinks that, you know, that's what he's got. He's been tested. The doctor keeps telling him it's just natural age right now. And I said to him last night, I said, and before you even think it, it has nothing to do with you getting dementia. I said, you have a lot on your mind between what's going on in the world and keeping me calm and everything, and there's just a lot on your mind. I said, so thank you for making us both a year younger than what I gave him a hug. And then last night we went to bed, as he's laying there, and he says, guess what? He goes, what? And I says, I'm a year younger. I'm 67. He goes, yeah, whatever. Oh my Lanta, I'm telling you, he had me convinced I was 68, and I kept thinking in my head, no, I'm only 66. I'm going to be 67. I should know. I just had to share that with you, my friend. You can laugh along with us because you could say that I should have stood my ground a little bit more. I should understand. I should know myself, and you know, and I shouldn't sit there and just give in because that's what he says. I just think it's funny. So anyways, I'm 67. I lost a year. I like that. 70's going to be here before we know it. So but yeah, so on that note, my friends, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to go carry this yarn project and my English paper piecing back out to the sunroom, set that down. I did make myself a big grape sun-kissed drink mix, sugar-free, and it is a quart jar. My favorite color. I like it better than the Wilders. The Wilders sugar-free. It doesn't taste the same grape it's okay, but it just is a different taste. So thanks for listening, my friends, and yeah, I'll most definitely let you know when that yarn comes in, and for the next shawl knit along. And I did order also, I didn't tell you this, I did order before the yarn. I ordered some Liberty fabrics from Fat Quarter Shop. I ordered a charm pack and then a yard of another of the Liberty that would go with this, because Kate from at the last Homely House, she did these curtains that looks like stained glass that are like, I don't know, I think 3.5-inch squares or 4-inch squares, and then the inside is a 2.5-inch squares, and you just sit there and you sew that on top of it. It's supposed to look rustic. And so she was selling the kits over where she lives online, and I thought, you know what, I'd love to order a kit from her, but you know, I got stuff I can use that I could make it, but I've never used Liberty fabrics before. In Fat Quarter Shop, I belong to their newsletter, and every morning they send you with temptations, I always call it, in their newsletter, and that had that in there. I think it was like, with shipping and tax, like $34, something like that. So when that comes in, I'll show you that. I can't remember. I think it's supposed to be here Saturday. So another hand project, I know. As Jerry said to me this morning, he said, yeah, when I was showing him the sweater, he said, he laughed. He goes, yeah, he says, not like you don't have enough other projects going. And I says, what other projects? I said, I finished that scarf or that shawl, and I finished the pair of socks. And he goes, well, don't you have a couple of quilting projects? I go, well, there might be 2 or 3. I said, but I just don't have it in me to set in here and sew. I'd rather be out in the sunroom and hand stitch. And I have my other machine out there that I can sew, but it sits right in front of the air conditioner. It'd be pretty chilly, and it's my featherweight, so I'm hoping that there's going to be some days that I can open up the windows and sit out there and sew. So he just laughed. He says, I do understand. He says, because he says, I have like 3 or 4 things that I've been working on, and then something else comes in, and then he's like, oh, I want to start this, and he starts that. So those are what I call the squirrel moments. So, but anywho, my friends, thanks again. I hope you are doing well, and I hope whatever craft you're doing or wherever you are at, you are finding joy in the day and in the moment, and that you are being kind to yourself, and that you are loving yourself enough to put yourself first. And if you are on a weight loss journey like I am, that you will look for more of the non-scale victories than the 1 meal or 2 meals or whole week's worth of bad eating. Just get back to it. You are doing the best job that you can do. And if you're anything like me, if you're too hard on yourself, you just throw caution to the wind. And that wind, it turns into a bad storm. And it's no more caution. It is that red stop light. So love yourself enough to give yourself the grace that you need and the forgiveness. So I'm going to let you go. And until we can sit again and chat, I look forward to it, my friend. See you soon.